Well, a stronger U.S. jobs market and rising costs overseas are prompting some companies to shift production back home. And according to today's ADP report, manufacturing added 23,000 jobs in March. That's over 400,000 jobs in the past 2 years. Our own Jeff Flock joins us live from Peerless-AV in Aurora, Illinois. Jeff.
You are watching, Charles, jobs being created, reshored here in the U.S. It's really an interesting concept that we're seeing a lot of. Michael Campagna is with me. He's the president of Peerless-AV, which makes AV equipment, mounting equipment for AV stuff, audio and visual stuff. What are we looking at right there?
We're looking at molten aluminum being poured into our process oven.
Charles, this is something that took place, and I want to walk quickly through this facility. This is something that used to take place in China. You farmed this out to China, right?
Yes, we used to do this in China, and about 2 years ago we made a strategic decision to bring this work back to the U.S.
And create the jobs here. Why did you do that?
There are a couple of reasons. First, we had intellectual property issues, and then when we
ripping you off.
Yes, we were being knocked off in China. And after looking at the total cost of manufacturing with the logistical fees, the shipping fees, you look at the total cost, it was actually
cheaper to do it here. And this is interesting, Charles, because they're creating jobs here, and we'll see all these jobs that they've got here in a moment, but the thing is, you're not creating because the economy's doing better. In fact, you said the recovery has been pretty slow for you.
Yes, we thought would have added more jobs by now, but the recovery has been a lot slower than we expected. So the jobs we're creating is just from reshoring.
So the jobs recreated here, not so much because of the economy, but because it just makes better sense to do it in the U.S. with smart American workers who are doing the job better and more efficiently than they were doing it in China, which is actually nice.
Jeff Flock, thank you very much. We always love your reports, especially when they're upbeat and pro-American. See you soon.
All right, let's take a lot of important news impacting your money today. Let's shake it up with the team and find out what you need to be watching right now. We've got Rich Edson. He's in Chicago. Jeff Flock in Aurora, Illinois. Wayne's World, right? Liz McDonald right here in the studio. Rich Edson, to you first. What are you doing out of D.C.? I don't think I get used without the White House behind you. What are you doing in the land of Lincoln?
That's the first thing I asked when I woke up this morning. I wasn't sure where I was, but we're here because Attorney General Eric Holder is here. This little fight's going on, the administration and the judiciary. Actually, interesting, the president a couple of days ago saying it would be unprecedented and extraordinary if the Supreme Court were to take the step and invalidate the health care law. Now, one federal judge has taken exception to that. Judge Jerry Smith of the Fifth Circuit Court said yesterday, put to task essentially the Justice Department and assigned them a project asking the Attorney General to return to them a reason why he thinks it would be extraordinary if the administration still believes in what's known as judicial review, the 200-year-plus precedent allowing federal courts to either overturn or uphold federal laws. Well, the Attorney General tells us here in Chicago that he will comply with the assignment. It's due tomorrow, noon, to the judge. It has to be single-spaced and 3 pages. That's serious. Back to you.
Yeah, in a blue book and no excuses. My dog did not eat my homework. Very interesting. All right, Rich, thanks. Jeff Flock in Aurora, Illinois. You know, doing business in China can be challenging at the best of times, but we understand a company tried, is now back in the U.S. Is that a good sign for our economic recovery, Jeff?
Well, I think it is. Looking deeper into the ADP numbers today, Ashley, and we came to this company, Peerless-AV. They make audio-visual equipment, electronic equipment, and mounting equipment for big TVs and that sort of thing. They took jobs overseas to China because they thought, well, it just makes better sense to go over there. Well, they found out not necessarily. Number one, their patents got ripped off. Number two, it took them forever to get stuff back. Number three, it was just overall costing them more money to have jobs there than to have them here. They've reshored those jobs here now, and so they've recreated jobs back here in the U.S. Part of the reason the ADP numbers are good, but not because the economy has gone well. In fact, the president of the company told us last hour on Fox Business Network, actually the economic recovery is pretty lame, but we brought these jobs back here, so we've actually net added jobs. Just a kind of a more close look into those ADP numbers that we get every month.
But are they going to stay here, Jeff, or maybe go south to Mexico where it is definitely cheaper?
You know, that's the only hitch to this whole thing. The president did tell me, you know, it really looks good right now in Mexico. China's a pain. It's a long way away, and it's a pain to deal with them. Here, in Mexico, that could be a ticket down the road. But right now, the jobs are here.
Hopefully we can keep them here. All right, Jeff Locke in Aurora, thank you very much. Now,
Plus, bringing jobs back to America. One company is tired of having their designs ripped off in China. Jeff Locke has the story. Jeff.
Indeed, I'm taking you to a company that is bringing jobs back to the U.S., but not because the economy's good, but because the workers in the U.S. are better. Talk exclusively to the president of Peerless-AV right here on the Fox Business Network. Stay tuned.
businesses the world over are racing to gain access to China's booming economy. But one U.S. manufacturer is actually ditching its operations in China to head back to U.S. shores and hire American workers.
Our Jeff Locke joins us live from Peerless-AV in Aurora, Illinois. Jeff, why do these companies choose to bring jobs back home?
It's an interesting tale, Melissa, and we're hearing more and more of this. I've got the president of Peerless-AV here. They employ about 500 people in the suburbs of Chicago. Mike Campagna, tell me why you brought the jobs back to the U.S. after you thought it was such a great idea to go to China.
At first, we had some intellectual property issues, and then after we looked at the...
You got ripped off?
Yeah, we were getting knocked off by the Chinese. And then after looking at the total cost of manufacturing in China, including the logistical costs and the time it takes to make a design change, looking at the total cost, we figured out it's really not that much more expensive to manufacture right here in Chicago.
I want to show our viewers specifically what it is you brought back, and it's loud back in here, but I want to see that this is where you're actually die casting. What am I looking at there? Molten metal. It looks like something out of the Terminator.
This is our die casting operation, and we're taking molten aluminum, and the robot will scoop it into the machine and then cool off the aluminum, and we'll make a finished part out of it.
You used to do this in China. Now they do it back here in the U.S., guys. Not because the economy is improving. You said actually the economy is kind of rough for you, and it's kind of slow.
We thought we would have put on more jobs by now, but the economy is really slow. It took a lot more time to turn around than we expected.
So the reason they've created jobs is not because of the economy, but because they can actually do it better back here in the U.S. Sort of an interesting tale.
And none of those intellectual property issues, or
They were getting ripped off.
Exactly. Jeff Locke, thank you.